Welcome back to the Nullified Take YouTube channel. We've got the TNT takes for you for the Amazing Race Australia. I tried to do like Bo. I really like the way Bo does that on every intro. Yeah, the big Randy Orton. So, we've got the gang back together. Tomac missed us last week for Weezer, but he's back tonight. Michelle, welcome back again, and hopefully we'll be joined by V shortly. But we are back to discuss week 2 of the Amazing Race Australia, episodes 3 and 4. We get the double up here every week on Australia. They like to just pump out episodes, so we're happy to absorb them all. So how are you, Tom? You happy to be back? You missed us last week. I know that you said that you couldn't defend some of the positions you wanted to be able to. You're coming in hot this week.
I'm just saying, like, when you attack my girls, Beck and Kate, like, that's their names, right? Yeah, Beck and Kate like that. I mean, you that's just wrong. So I'm expecting them to go right back up to Amazing Races after their performances this week. But and also, that there are a few other things that I questioned, but we'll get into that.
And Michelle, how are you this week? You enjoyed the 2 episodes?
I did. They were good. There was a bit of a similarity between the Australian and the US this week. So at one point, I'm like, am I thinking about the US or am I thinking about Australia? So yeah, it's good that I've already done the US podcast, and now we get into the Aussie one, and I can get all the similarities off my chest.
So the American version is on the Nullified Take as well. Every Friday night with Michelle and Chris. I commented on that one that it's hard for me to get my head around which one I'm watching as well. I might actually have to give up the US one while we're covering the Australian. I'm not sure. Keeping it all separate in my head is hard to do when I've got the challenge and Survivor and stuff going on as well. So we had episode 3 and 4 of the Amazing Race. Let's just get into it. Before we do, we're going to say hello to everyone in the live. I want to send a big shout out to Sabri. Hi, they say.
Hi.
Andre Lee, always supporting $5 NZ. Thank you so much. Looking forward to Cornelis to be a contestant on Australian Survivor Heroes versus Villains. Is he a hero or a villain?
Hero.
What's the inference there? Andre also said regarding King George equals production interference. 2 episodes in a row. We'll discuss that.
I'll touch on that later.
Michael Mucky Hope just wanted to pop in and say, how dare Tom not like Shin Haiti? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's from Ahsoka. I hated the Ahsoka show, and it's like Mucky's favorite show, so he's just inside joke there. Yeah, sorry, Mucky.
Okay, they're having Star Wars references back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who that is, but lucky woman.
Yeah, sure.
RD said that welcome RD, our first Aussie season where no all-female teams eliminated in the first 4 episodes. Go the women. That's pretty good.
Woo.
And Jonathan Gray says, I wasn't helping with that, Michelle. I don't know what. Do you know what he's referring to? I love Jonathan, our statistician. Welcome. And Scott said, glad to be here with you live early AM here in the US. Not much of a Taz fan or Tar fan, I'm assuming, but AU is fun because of King George. King George, such a big personality, having a rough couple of episodes early in the season. But we'll start with episode 3 in Kerala. With teams receiving clues to go to Marine Drive. The detour for episode 3 starts with teams choosing between 2 challenges, Stripe It and Strike It. Stripe It is when they paint a tiger on a giant belly of a Cali dancer.
Gosh.
So great. This is one where I was like, I could be on the Amazing Race. Not as the person doing the painting, but as a paintee. And then there's
it looked so hard.
It looked really difficult.
The painting was so difficult. It looked
but
hard.
Then they get into that. They get into the rhythmic dance, and I think you just get into like hypnotized and start painting along with it. There you go. Tom's got it.
Yeah, it was. I love that challenge. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I enjoyed watching it. It was lots of fun.
That was, of course, with Strike It, where they played a traditional sort of not cricket game with a bunch of local kids, and we had Stripe It painting a tiger onto a belly of a Kali dancer. How do you choose between these two when, like, there's not a lot of information that
Oh,
goes in on them, right? And
no.
you Strike It thing, and you go, okay, painting. I like painting. I don't
Yeah, I
think
probably would have said, "I like painting, let's do painting." And then I would have gone, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
I love the actual the canvases faces just deadpanning while people are literally painting on their belly. One like Ali and what's Ali's Angie. Angie's like touching the nipple, like
I
they get
know.
in there, and he just has to deadpan like I can't make faces. I'm getting paid $3 for the whole day. I need to take this job seriously. It's an interesting sort of thing, isn't it? Like I had a lot of fun with that. Um, what did you think of Strike It, Tom? Would you have chosen Strike It or Stripe It?
Yeah, yeah, because I'm an artist, so I do a bit of painting, but I would never do painting on The Amazing Race. I just feel like you never know how time consuming it is, and like what you're getting into. I feel like I'd always choose like the athletic kind of option, yeah, and Strike It would have been fine. Like, I mean, if George can do Strike It, not that he did anything, I'm pretty sure it was just Pam the whole time.
It was
But if
Pam.
George can do it, then I can do it, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, so a few chose Stripe It, a few chose Strike It. Darren and Tristan, Harry and Teddy were the ones first focused on Strike It. Teddy said, "Yeah, we'll smash these kids." So I like that quote. That was pretty good. And then Darren said that Teddy was doing it with it was Teddy and the big tall guy with the skinny legs. So that
Yeah.
was good. They're taking hits at each other, taking shots at each other.
Mm.
Yeah, you mentioned, Tom, that Pam really carried George in this one. He wasn't doing too good.
Oh,
His
the whole
survivor
episode.
woes on challenges has followed him onto the Amazing Race as well, as far as competence goes.
Well, it's concerning because Pam's not exactly like let's say an Amazing Race equivalent of Aussie from Survivor, you know. So when you're relying on Pam to carry you through like a competition, that is very concerning for their future in this game, I think.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah.
think of that challenge there, Michelle? Did you like
I
these
thought it
challenges?
looked really hard. It looked really
Mm.
hard, and one of them, I don't know whether it was Harry or Teddy, said that the Strike It challenge was it was like a spider trying to put underwear on, and I'm like, I don't even understand where you get that analogy from. But it was like,
This was
okay,
also the man that said, they have dumb brain.
it's like moving right along. What are you talking about? Um, but I mean, at the beginning, George said to Pam, a bit more excitement, please, Pam. But Pam is such a like she's just deadpan all the time, and I think because George is so large than life, yeah, you can really see the difference because they're so chalk and cheese.
Mm.
Yeah, in the confessionals, as far as like the talking heads to the camera, not a lot of Pam. Like it's all George dominating. Just like I don't know if like beforehand he just sort of put his hand on her face, like shh, shh, like if there's ever any of them, but it's all George all the time. But King George being as gracious as he is, I don't know if you've noticed, but he does this thing where he'll go on his King George rant, and then at the end of the sentence and say, "And his sister Pam." Like he tacks on Pam for like his big King George style rant. Oh, and Pam too. I love that. He
Yeah,
always remembers that she's. Oh yeah, there's someone next to me too. He's so
yeah,
used to being solo on it. You know what I mean?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree. He does, point people in her direction as well, so that it's not all about him. But yeah, but she's so quiet anyway.
Hmm.
Except when there's like something gross or something like that.
Yeah.
She's
Oh yeah,
certainly
George,
she'll
I
certainly
can't do
make it.
it.
So the Stripe It looked easier potentially, but really intricate. Again, we always see the physical or the fast and hard versus the attention to detail, that sort of thing. I think I would have gone with strike it as well. Like it seemed pretty hard to get a hang of, but once you sort of figure out whatever it is and it becomes a little bit of muscle memory after repetition, they seem to be getting a hang of it. But I don't know if I could have drawn that tiger very well. I'm not great with painting, and on a dancing, breathing belly like that as well. I'm not sure how well I would have done,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
coming out of that, Darren and Tristan complete it. Are they first, or is it Teddy and Harry first?
Darren.
Oh.
They're
I
both
think
on a
Harry.
race though, because they come out quick and they want to go for the fast forward, the fast pass,
They
fast
were
forward.
very close.
Yeah.
That was super close. What did you think of this? So basically, I've never seen them do this on the Amazing Race, where they physically actually have to modify a part of their body
Yeah. But I think
in
it
order to
was
complete it. But Darren Tristan, and
Darren that
Darren being a
said,
television presenter, the old stereo.
Oop,
lost him.
lost him. All right.
Kahuna, where'd you go? He's gone.
Yeah.
Totally frozen. But anyway, I thought Darren said, "Oh, it's going to be grueling, whatever fast forward it is. Counting, it's going to be really long." And I'm thinking, you haven't watched Amazing Race, because fast forwards aren't long. Fast forwards are like these things like shave your head, or they're really quick things that are really awful, and that's
Oh
the
yeah,
whole
I,
idea.
I I remember one season like 2 people had to get a monk haircut or something.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
Aussies.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they ended up winning, but
that's gold. I'd do that.
yeah,
So would you get
Yeah,
pierced though?
yeah,
I'd
that'd be
prefer.
easy
Yeah.
because that would close up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to if it was this early in the race, I wouldn't. Or especially, I would have been fuming, like non-elimination leg, and I had to do that. I would just, I'd be like
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
be like Rodney from Survivor when he had to wash dishes on his birthday. I wouldn't let it go, 100%. Yeah.
I think I would have done it. Like they skipped the upcoming roadblock, and what really looked kind of challenging in what the next thing was, and for them to be able to beat Harry and Teddy to that, I think was pretty smart. Tristan ended up talking Darren into getting pierced and had to get a full like big ring with the chain hanging and everything.
I
Not that the
know.
actual piercing itself is any different, but it wasn't just like a small little trainer stud that you get when you first get your ears pierced or whatever. It was a big jangly thing that they're walking around with. So that was fun.
Massive.
Let's have a look at the chat here as well.
It's been quite lively.
Oh, I was asking before. I don't know how much is on there, but Andre says there's a lot of info for the contestant on the clue itself. Okay. And Jonathan said still no reference to switching detours yet. Did we have a switch? Did
No,
someone
we
choose to
didn't.
change? No. Okay.
I don't think we did. No, everyone stayed.
Ellen saying,
Ellen.
"Hey everyone, hey Ellen." Scott said, "I wouldn't want to do either of those. I'd fail at both, the painting and the strike it."
You'd be okay
Here's
eventually.
RD with the important questions. Thinking
Well, you don't
of the
generally
the
sweat
big things.
on your stomach, though, do you?
What if the dancers started to sweat?
It's the head, the feet, under the arms. The
Well,
stomach tends to stay
I
dry.
think
It's the
I
back.
think in that Indian weather and men of a certain size, I can relate to. Maybe it would be hard to not be sweating, especially with like paint that kind of blocks pores, and I don't know. I'd be worried about that too. It's probably sweat-proof paint. That's what they have for sure.
I have a feeling that that Ali and
Paint.
Angie, I have a feeling Ali and Angie's dance would have been sweating with Angie coming on hot or all the men in this leg of the race. Poor Ali. That'd be tough to see a mom doing that throughout the whole race. But yeah, it's
She's not ashamed,
poor
is she?
guy. Yeah,
I'm
just
happy
getting his
for it.
nipple.
Go for it, Ange. Go get it. Go get a Kali
Yeah.
Tiger dance. Andre Lee says, I've done the Indian game of Strike It before and similar type of game, so he would have picked that for sure. Yeah. He said you need to hit it near the end or the edge of the stick in order to get the sort of the leverage bounce, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be able to do that bit. And then once it's in the air, I wouldn't be able to connect with it because the sticks are so small.
Yeah.
I'd be able to do that.
I think the other one would be
Ellen
harder.
said if I was Pam at that challenge, I would have told George to either contribute more or shut up. I didn't see him contributing much at all. Yeah, lol. When we said that George is larger than life, Scott said saying George is larger than life is an understatement.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
I was gonna say, I wonder like what would happen to George, like if someone in life just told him like just to shut up and just like had enough of him. Like I wonder if Pam like breaks on the race and like how he'd react to that. If he'd just like go quiet or if he'd just keep on yapping.
I don't think he's not like that to your face on the race. He just becomes this larger than life person when he's doing confessionals, as you've seen in Survivor and you see now on the race. Because in real life, like I've met George several times, he's not in your face. He likes to explain what he's done and how he managed to get to what he did, but he's not like in your face like you see he's portrayed on the shows.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone who is I feel like I'm Bo on the map because we're welcoming someone, and I feel like saying, V, you are the last to arrive to check in.
Yes, I will be eliminated. Yes. Joyful
Welcome,
tech
V.
issues, but I'm here.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. We've
Thank
talked
you.
about the detour, and Darren and Tristan now piercing their faces in order to get a fast forward and doing so successfully. What was your take on the first sort of there was Strike It, there was Stripe It. Are you painting tigers on large corpulent bellies, or are you trying to hit sticks off the ground? What are you choosing there, V?
They both looked absolutely impossible to me. How painting things, art, sports. Who are these people?
Everyone who
I
wants
have to sit
V
both
as a
out.
partner on The Amazing Race. She's putting a resume forward there. Art,
No.
sports. So after
Can't do either.
after Tristan and Darren get the fast pass, they get to avoid the roadblock coming up, where one person from the team has to choose to complete the challenge. This one, the teams faced off in the tuk-tuk or tuk-tuk driving challenge as the roadblock. What did you all think of this? Tom, are you proficient at tuk-tuk driving?
I think I'd be good at that. I haven't got my manual license, but I love I'd love to get like a tuk-tuk license. You know what a random. I love how Core has technically got like, I mean, it's not like a proper license, but he's done a tuk-tuk like driving test before he's actually done his real like P plates driving test. That's definitely an interesting chain of events for him. Yeah.
Michelle, would you be tuk-tuk-tuking too long in a challenge like this?
I probably would. I don't drive a manual. I have taken 2 lessons, but they weren't good. But I want to know why Yana put Core in to do it when he isn't even a driver, and he's obviously just done some practice so far. Like, why?
It's probably because he's shown that he's got such like grace under pressure. He's very calm and cool, collected when things are going against him.
As a mother, why would you put your child through that when they can't? I wouldn't put my daughter through that. She's 17, doesn't have a license. Like, why? Anyway, on to V.
By the way, I think now Core's done both roadblocks, yeah. So you know how they have to, Australia has the same rule where they have to do 50-50 or a certain percentage of roadblocks?
They keep changing. I don't know what it is currently.
Well, Yana hasn't done one yet, and she's letting Core go out there as a lamb to slaughter and just sort of crack under the pressure every time. Dude, but I mean, this time it worked. They actually finished first. They're out on their way to the next clue. V, what did you think of this here?
Oh, I agree. That was crazy that Yana even got him to do the I don't understand the thinking behind that, except that maybe she wants to give him a chance to shine. But as a parent myself, I'd be wanting to take over as much as I could to get things done. Bless him. And then everything just falls apart for the poor boy, and you've got to have a huge amount of sympathy. It's like he couldn't even show his face on camera. He just looked gutted.
Yeah.
Oh, and it made me want to cry.
Just keep pretending to look for the bum bag. It's still there, maybe.
Well, he had tears in his eyes, probably. Oh my God.
And Tom, like they said they were going for hours. Like this is the classic Amazing Race sort of thing that can really change the course of a game. You can go from first to last, last to first, depending on if something goes wrong or right. And things like a forgotten bum bag potentially could have ruined their entire race.
Well, considering I was the person who said like Yana and Cole would get out in the first week, every time something bad happens to them, I'm like, yes, like I just want them gone so I can be as close to an accurate. But like I reckon like they were so close to coming last in this episode, and I was like, come on, George and Pam, find that blue banana. And then of course Yana and Cole get it. But I reckon, if Yana and Cole came last, they might have got eliminated, But it's just conspiracy theories here. Yeah, so sadly they're still in the race. One day I'll celebrate because there's no way they're making final 3. So I just can't wait for that moment.
Michelle, you mentioned your 17-year-old. You wouldn't put it through the tuk-tuk challenge knowing how difficult that would be and how much pressure that would be. How do you react to the lost bum bag and bringing Core back off the edge again?
Stupid. Sorry.
Back-to-back episodes.
You leave the bum bag, and then you leave your main bag. I'm sorry, V, and I know as parents we're always saying, "Have you got this? Have you got that?" Before you leave the house, do you have this? Don't forget this. Like it's just ingrained as a mother. You're just forever reminding, and even my husband says, "Stop reminding them. They'll never remember anything by themselves." But we can't help it. I don't understand. Because he's 16 and he's a boy / man. You guys forget everything. I would be. It's my fault.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I just want to point out when you mentioned the main bag, Yana left it as well.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The whole thing is Yana's fault.
They're as bad as each other. They're as bad as each other.
Oh, it's just shocking. Sorry.
The bum bag is left behind. George and Pam in last position find that bum bag. V, you're in that last spot. What do you do with the bum bag?
Well, actually, I think it ended up. I know George thought he was being strategic and that he could deliver it, but I think that would have been worse because they're already coming back. So unless they could contact, that would have made them behind because they would have spent time looking. So in a way, he helped them by
for hours
leaving it clearly in an obvious spot of like, boom, it's there. So I think he was being a bit kinder than he perhaps let on with his commentary. But yeah, there would be the sort of, you'd kind of want to hide it, sort of toss it over the fence or something and run away. But bless little Core. The poor little boy. You can't be mean to him. You can't be mean to him. I just want to give him a cuddle and a Fanta. You just want to sit him down and go, and a Fanta. Just sit down, have a relax. Let your mum sort this out. She's an Olympic athlete, all right? Let her do although she forgets bags as well. So you can't. I couldn't be mean to him. I couldn't.
The bag is a big thing apparently because Ellen said, again, as I pointed out last week, how do you not realize you aren't wearing your bum bag or backpack? It gaps. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You're having the most important things in that. That's very true. And when asked, would you bring or leave Core's bum bag? Ellen backs that up with saying, I would have hid it in a bush.
No, well,
You wouldn't be
actually,
the only one.
you can't actually
Ellen.
touch other people's things. Well, that was a
Oh, you
rule in
can't?
US Survivor. I mean, US Amazing Race. You can't touch anyone else's stuff. Oh, it is in Survivor as well, apparently. Yeah.
It wouldn't be very sportsmanly. It would probably be crossing the line to toss it in a bush. And maybe
Yeah.
George knew that very well.
I wouldn't
I'm
toss
sure
it.
people have done it in the past. I'm sure people have attempted it.
Yeah, I wouldn't toss it in a bush, but I'd find a kid and go, "Hey kid, here's $5. That bum bag over there. You want to take it and as far away as possible? Just run.
Just
Just
run.
go for it, mate. You can have whatever's inside. There's probably a driver's license in there or something, or a passport. A passport. That's what I meant. Yeah.
He doesn't have a driver's license.
Yeah. I forgot. He's 16 now. Anyway.
So with the bum bag incident, Yana and Core get turned around, have to go all the way back, which means Darren and Tristan can end up going to a banana eating challenge where they have to find out of a pack of 30 bananas a blue banana somewhere in there. This is another one of those challenges where you go, how would I do in eating 30 bananas, and could my luck possibly be better than Pam and George's as far as picking the right blue banana? Because some of them are picking it on the second or third banana.
Well, we're not
George
all
and Pam went to
psychics.
27.
Yeah.
I mean, is that Ben and Jackie? They move into second with that, and I was like, I don't know if that's fair. Like,
What do you mean? They did it.
what is
She was
production
using her
allowing
psychic powers.
Yeah.
advantages like that are not accounted for in the other teams? You know what I mean? I'm like, she's clearly done. Like, it was her first one, wasn't it? Like, Ben picked one, and then
Magic.
the first one.
Just intuition.
I mean,
Intuition. Sometimes it's good.
I didn't know psychic powers affected bananas, but you learn something new every day.
Hey, don't be naive. We don't know what it affects.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
she's
bananas
probably-
have brains.
This will get her right
she's-
all the way to the end.
Yeah,
That's-
absolutely. She is, I mean, she didn't use any of those psychic powers in the previous any challenges at all, or the next one, like we'll talk about. But in this one, it helped her find that blue banana. Pam and George with 27 bananas to find the blue one. So they're eating 13 apiece if it's equal. How are you guys doing on a banana eating challenge?
I like bananas. I don't want to eat 15 of them. I'd probably eat 5, vomit over the hill, and then keep going.
That'd be tough for me. I can't. I don't vomit. Like, it just doesn't happen. So like it would stay.
No, I
in me.
don't vomit, but I'd have to make myself or something.
I can't. Like,
Right.
literally, it's just like a. So I would be screwed if I was.
You'd be good then. You could do do the
Yeah,
bananas with Sprite challenge. That is
That's
very
not
big. You could do everything. You just shove it all down. It's staying down. You'd be
Yeah,
good on the challenge on the eating Survivor. You could eat all the eating challenges as Tom's
Yeah.
domain.
I could do them. I just couldn't do like bulk. Yeah. Like the survivor ones are fine unless it's like the witchetty grub. If it's alive, no way. I'm not touching that.
No.
gosh.
I think I would have been 2 bananas down and calling for a time penalty and just sitting out.
Oh,
There's no way.
wow.
I'm such a wimp when it comes to eating challenges. As we go on, everyone will make me squirm. I'd take the time penalty. I'd say this is not worth it.
Immediately, just straight off the bat, you've made the pre-calculations. We're doing it.
Like I said, this would be a bad episode for me. Every challenge, I'd be like, oh, and whinging the entire time. There's no way.
Well, by the sounds of things,
You put that in your application for the Amazing Race in the future.
but by the sounds of things, you would have been voted out this episode unless George was your partner.
Oh yeah. Well, if I've got George screaming at me, I might find a little bit more power.
Hurry up,
in me.
V, you got to eat more bananas. Come on, V.
Begging for that time penalty. I'd look worse than Pam. She looked nearly dead by the end of it. She did not look good.
Well, she's only tiny. Where is she?
Yeah, where did they even go?
Oh, in
So
the bucket.
they have the worst luck possible in picking blue bananas. They obviously cannot see what the other teams are seeing. It allows Yana and Core, after the bum bag incident, to leave, forget the main bag, come back again, and still go. That's how long it took for them to find that blue banana.
If I was George, I'd be so embarrassed by that. So embarrassed.
Did you also notice while that was on, they had in the background a song that had the word banana nana? And I was like, what
Very good editing, Jonathan.
God.
So Darren and Tristan finish first. They land on the mat, followed by a bunch of other people. Jane and who was second? Ben and Jackie second.
Doesn't matter.
Harry and Teddy third. And then Haley fourth. Beck and Kate fifth. Again, I don't know why you're so upset that they're middle of the pack, Tom, when they're clearly showing up until this point. That's where they are.
Because
Ali and Angie, Peter and Frankie moving on up. They have a great episode in episode 3, moving up to 7th spot. Iana and Core take over George and Pam, and George and Pam last to arrive. Of course, that means in the Amazing Race that they are eliminated from the race. Tom, what's your take on this here, sir?
So this a bit of background. I was gonna message Kahuna ahead of last week's episode because I knew they were gonna do their predictions for the week about who's gonna get out, and I was like, 100% George and Pam are coming last in one of the episodes this week, and I bet you it'll be a non-elimination for them. And lo and behold, first episode, but I didn't put it in writing, so I guess you just have to believe me, hopefully.
Michelle, non-eliminations, part and parcel of the race. When it happens to fall on a beloved figure or a big figure like George, people are going to talk. What do you think of when this sort of comes up every now and then?
I know with US production, non-elimination legs are predetermined. They have to, only because they need to know the number of teams there are in the next place for the challenges. So if they're doing challenge on boats, they will have that many boats ready or that many cars ready or whatever they have ready. They know if it's a non-elimination and if they have to keep that many going. This is why people hate if they have a loved team and it's a non-elimination leg, no one says anything. They don't care. But if it's a team that they want out, they say, oh, it's all been planned. Oh, they've done it just because of this team. And I find it really annoying. Sorry, Tom. I find it really annoying because I know with the US, they have to have it planned down to a T. Transport, airlines, everything down to numbers. And if they don't have that, the whole race falls apart. They can't suddenly say, oh, we have to keep this team in. Oh, let's get this team out. So that's my take on it. Maybe it's controversial for some people, but I know from talking to production in the US, that's why they do it. They have it beforehand because it's a race for so much money in America, it's $1 million. They can't see if someone in production knows it's been rigged, then they can actually get sued because it's a competition show. And there's hundreds of people in production. So they can't keep a secret like that down if they've suddenly put something in or taken something out when it's supposed to be there. So that's my take.
There's two sides, V. Are you a conspiracy theorist? What do you think?
Well, I was actually hoping to talk to the Brains Trust because, of course, I haven't watched a lot of The Amazing Race, and I did wonder if that was something that looked a little bit rigged or if, like Michelle said, production is so carefully planned out that there's no room for error. I mean, because it was George and he's so slippery, I thought it was quite convenient. But I can see what Michelle's saying. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know if George is pulling in enough ratings for them to rig the entire competition because everyone's tuning in to see George each week. I think they would have sooner, knowing this population, kept Grant Denyer, knowing the average punter on the street. So I don't know.
More than King George, that's for sure. King George is obviously huge in a smaller niche than some of these other people, perhaps. So That's
But,
a good point.
My nan doesn't know him. So, but my nan knows Grant Denny.
Grant Denyer.
Yeah, well, Grant Denny is the top name that they advertised, but George was second.
Yeah. So I think for them to go to such an effort to save George, but not go, oh, Grant's sick.
Well, he was dying,
so it's not fair. Yeah. I think if they were going to save anyone, I think they would have tried to bring Grant back from the dead, bring him in on a stretcher the next episode or something. I love King George, but the grandmas might not be as aware of him as we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Conspiracy theories are fun. Go, Tom.
Can I just say I don't want George and Pam out. Like, I love them. They were the only team that, like, if they got out early, like, I'd be like, And I think with Grant, I've never seen like the second leg be a non-elimination leg, I believe. I don't know if it's happened before, so I'd definitely be sus on that if that one happened. But I noticed it's jumping ahead, but I just wanted to ask, for the virtual leg, has anyone ever been eliminated in a virtual leg? I always thought it was like a two-part, like people don't get eliminated at the end of a virtual one.
Well, there's no such thing as a virtual mat, because the mat's physically there, for one thing. That whole virtual
stuff, yeah.
What is that? Because we're not wearing masks, we're not doing anything like that. But yes, in the US season, a keep on racing leg, a mega leg, whatever you want to call it, usually they have someone eliminated in the middle. It's happened once that they haven't, but usually someone is, apparently. Yeah.
The sensational is fun, but it's more than likely that this stuff is meticulously planned out in advance and all that sort of thing. They've got staff, they've got cameras, they've got all this stuff, they've got a number of episodes to fill. As fun as it is, I think facts and logic are probably a little less boring for some people. And when we talk about boring facts and logic, Jonathan Gray, our statistician for the nullified take, unofficial, but I like to think it's official, says that 6 of the 7 first of the seasons have had a non-elimination the first 3 episodes. Tom, what do you think of that?
Well, the third episode I'm fine with, but the second episode I'd be like, really? The second episode that already a non-elimination?
Well, this was the third episode.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the second episode. I'm saying, like, if it happened,
right.
Yeah.
It might have felt a bit more sus.
Yeah, third I can let slide, I guess. Third is all right.
Jonathan did back up that there's also be legal things in the contract as well, I'd imagine. And he also said, "Oh yeah, by the way, this point as well. Imagine rigging a racing car."
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we did not say goodbye to George and Pam. Controversial or not, they are non-eliminated. Is a predetermined. Bo told us, and Bo knows. So I'm going to listen to Bo because he is fast becoming one of my favorite hosts of a reality show. Like, I just love this dude. He's so funny and personable, and he's charismatic, and it seems like he's genuinely enjoying it. That's a little side rant, sorry, but we'll go to episode 4. Contestants move from India to Langkawi. Langkawi. Bo says it Langkawi, and I always wonder, is that the proper pronunciation? Is that like,
I've only heard it that way.
Bo pronunciation of it? Okay, we'll go with that. In Malaysia, for the 4th episode, the 4th leg, teams drive themselves to the first challenge with Kaur and Yana having their bags this time. That was what I wrote in my notes. I was like, I'm reading it. I wrote that. They actually did have their bags this time. So they did not forget them on the plane or in India, which is a great start. Definitely a big change from the last episode. So that's good. Detour, first one up, is a choice between Eagle Eye, where they parasail high above and see some sort of eagle artwork put together in like debris, and then go have to find a replica of that in a local market, or Eagle Eye or Mai Tai, which is delivering cocktails on a stand-up paddleboard. Again, I throw it to the people. V, which one are you going with here? Which one did you like?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where it was like the agility versus the memory. and you always want to go agility. Well, I would want to go agility rather than memory, because the eagles stuffed them up because they were like, but there's lots of eagles. Like, yeah. So I don't know. The eagle one did look easier. I don't know. I also don't like heights, so you know. I don't know.
mean, that's a big part of it. Tom, are you a stand-up paddleboarder?
No, I'm not, but I am working on my balance at the moment. You know, just getting training for Survivor. You know, you got to improve all your skills.
It's a weird thing to say, but
no,
hey,
no,
awesome.
well, no, well, yeah, no. Anyway, I'd probably do the other one though. I'm afraid of heights, but those kinds of heights don't bother me. Like if I'm on the ground and then I magically fly up into the air, that's fine. But if I was like abseiling, like that's something I can't do. So I'd probably choose the eagle eye one because you know, picking the right necklace didn't seem too hard unless you're Kate, you know.
So the fact that it had cocktails in it seemed to be a big draw to your girls, though, Tom.
Yeah,
those cocktails at all.
Well, to be fair, like I know who I'd go in the race if I went on, and they don't drink alcohol, so it'd be more cocktails for me. So it sounds pretty good, that challenge. Now I think of it.
Michelle, you doing cocktails? Or are you picking jewelry?
Oh no, I'm doing the cocktails.
Yeah,
Yeah,
paddleboard though.
we're both down. Like, so the person at the front is holding
Yes.
the thing with their feet in the water, not like Pam was doing, and not having any idea of balance. Like she needed to have her feet in the water, not cross-legged on the actual paddleboard. That didn't give her anything, and that's why they went over. And instead of standing on the back of the paddleboard, I'd be kneeling. Lots more control that way because I've done that before. And definitely because the flying, you may not get it on the first round, then you have to wait. I wouldn't want to have to wait. I just want to have to just do it on my own bat and be responsible for it, not have to wait for other people.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to argue with. Like, I was looking at that as well, going, like, could they put the tray down on the board, like, get a little bit of stability? They're holding it like
I think
this.
that'd be dangerous because,
I'm like, they're choosing weird ways to sit.
Yeah, but look, V knows
someone's
this, being
paddling from the front.
if you've got to transport food in a car, you don't put it down anywhere. You need someone holding it because you need to be able to move it with the car. If you leave it down, you've got trouble. Things are sliding off. Things are going everywhere. You need to have someone sitting there. Even if it's a 5-year-old, they can hold it and literally move with the car.
And I think that was in the Fast and the Furious as well, I think. So I think it was taught there as well that about driving the car, but you have to keep the fluid stable.
Yeah.
What a reference.
It's in the Fast and Furious. It's science. That's
science. It looked impossible. I don't know how anyone did it, but I do agree with Michelle. You have that control over it. You're not waiting for anyone else. You have that control. You're only as slow as you're going to go. Again, they both looked impossible. I don't know how these people do it. And they're celebrities. What?
I think if the harness was big enough and could get me going, I'd do that one, because the idea of balancing the tray with the cocktails and then getting onto a board that's on water, so you're balancing glasses on a tray on your hand while you're balancing on a board that's balancing on the water, and it's too much variance there for me personally. I was like, look at it going, that's a lot of, like, I would have been like George, where he dropped it before he even walked to the board. Like he was walking into the water and he already stuffed it up. So yeah, I think I could pay attention to a giant eagle, hopefully. Who knows? But a few people tried different things. Ben and Jackie, I mean, the psychic ability apparently is very short-lived.
Comes and goes.
It was birthday blessings, remember? We forgot to mention that it was specifically and only for her birthday, and she used that ticket. She punched it. She couldn't do it anymore because when they went up first, they're leading the race at this point to view. And again, Jackie, last episode, or not last episode here, but last week, when they had to do the copy the Indian wedding clothes fashion, zero attention to detail, just like this one, that. Yeah, I like that one. And again, looking at the eagles, neither of them could think like there may be It doesn't match at all. They're giant statues that are 3D instead of a wood thing. So Ben and Jackie miss out. They go to the back, falling victim to what Michelle has said. You want control over whether you can go again or whether you're waiting in line, because sometimes that waiting in line can mean the difference between a lot of it. At this point, George and Pam, by the way, have to do their speed bump, which is a punishment for being in that non-elimination or coming last in a non-elimination leg, and have to do an extra task on top of what everyone else has to do. This one, is this typical as well, Michelle, of speed bumps? They're generally just a bit of a pain in the ass one. They're not super hard.
They're not
just
anything
annoying.
super hard. They're just a bit time consuming, and they just got to get it done. They're not really hard.
And why not help out the local community, pick up rubbish that production clearly planted for them to pick up?
Exactly. That was just so silly. You could tell they planted the exact amount that they needed, because when they went with the bags to the adjudicator, there was no rubbish behind them on the beach. I'm like, oh God, really? Production, you could have put maybe 5 more bottles down.
Tom, I got a question for you for the next challenge.
Yep.
How much do you like bats?
Well, I haven't told anyone this, but I actually am Batman. No, I'm bats are fine. Like, I feel like
I knew it.
yeah. I mean, look at my mansion, you know. No, I mean, they're up on the ceiling. I feel like it's a fine challenge. You just got to go into a cave. If it was like snakes on the ground or something, and you have to like walk through the snakes to get to the box, like that'd be freaky, obviously. But just like a bunch of bats on the ceiling, just got to be quiet, easy peasy.
Yeah, fine.
I felt like this was one of those challenges. V, you're not as familiar with The Amazing Race, but when you looked at this, I got the feeling that this was one that production thought would be a lot cooler than it probably worked out to be, because it seems like they walked really easily into a cave that was not really that scary, and the bats didn't do anything, and you couldn't see them, and there was no visuals whatsoever, and then they just bent down into a box and picked up.
And production was like, who came up with that one? That was a complete waste of energy. Yeah, no one even got swarmed or pooped
That's what
on. Come on.
That's 100% they were wanting, right? They were hoping for that shot.
They were like, it's going to be so easy to upset these bats. And the bats were like, no, we're actually fine. Don't worry. Just do what you want to do. So I was disappointed by that.
Yeah, I mean, there was no one turned into vampires at all. Like, I was super disappointed by, there was no man dressed in a rubber suit that keeps a young boy in there. So all these bad things that could have happened.
And they could have set off the bats. Someone in costume racing around in a bat costume, setting off the bats. Yeah. I would have been stoked to see that.
So after they get their super scary bat clue, we have a roadblock where team members have to replicate an elaborate fruit hamper, facing difficulty in completing that task. One thing that stood out to me, this show is on its prime time, right? On a weekday, 7:30, Wednesday, Thursday. They arrive at this challenge, and Darren McMullen, television presenter and host, sees this quite like really alarmingly good-looking chicken on the side of the road, and he just screams into his microphone, "Nice cock!" And that made the edit.
That was great.
Is it a show for your nan or not? I don't know. Sometimes I think it is, and sometimes I think it isn't. I think there was an S-bomb dropped as well, countless times.
This is Australian television. I'm loving it.
Well, Darren can get away with it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sorry, we had bats that didn't bat, and then we had to watch people putting together a fruit hamper and Come on.
You don't like the fruit hamper challenge? It's kind of typical of what we said. Again, it's that attention to detail. How focused are you?
But on
and this one proved.
Hamper?
I mean, it proved pretty hard.
They were painting dude's stomach last episode, and now they're doing a fruit hamper. I think
The
they let the
contrast
work
to that is pretty
experience
good.
kid come up with the challenges today. And he was
Hey, I
properly
mean,
sent home.
can you tell a green rambutan from a red rambutan? You know, like that.
Yeah, one's red and one's green.
People didn't
Wait,
notice
say it
that.
again?
Apparently, that was one of the
And
things
they
that was
still,
hard.
you miss a whole ribbon tied around the handle. You miss a whole ribbon. You didn't
They're
touch
male.
it.
They were male.
Excuse me.
It was astounding.
Excuse me. I am very meticulous. Thank you very much. I would have kicked ass.
Would
in
you have
that challenge.
noticed the ribbon? Not the ribbon. Would you have noticed the wrapping?
No, the first thing I noticed when I saw the basket, I was like, oh, I have to tie a ribbon around the wrapping around the thing. I was
I'm
like,
impressed.
yeah. No,
I'm
I like whenever I leave the house, I'm always like, keys, wallet, all that kind of stuff. Like I never forget. The only time I've lost something, my friend took it and then just never gave it back to me, and then that's why.
that's
Sabotage. There you go.
Yeah,
That'd
exactly.
get anyone.
Yeah.
But how do these people not realize that the attention to detail is necessary? How many challenges has it been that they've had to go back and forth, that you wouldn't go, right, hamper, touch everything. Where is everything? Meticulous. This has to be perfect. You miss a ribbon, a whole ribbon.
Like V.
I can't get over it.
But Darren, in like the first or second episode, said something like, "How meticulous are they with detail?" And I'm thinking, very.
Yeah, you think if someone calls you and calls your agent and says you're going on the show, you go, well, maybe I'll watch a season or two before I go on and get a lay of the land. But it seems no one did. And then they do 2 challenges. They're like, but they won't be as meticulous for this one.
Yeah.
A random fruit basket should be fine. So I'll just do something.
Core took a different approach. Cornelius took a different approach where he sort of said, "I'm not great with memorizing a lot of things," and he took one item at a time, just one one for one transportation, and ended up coming second with Yana. Tristan and Darren again in first place, landing on that mat. In what is we find out to be a virtual stop, so they keep on racing. But Darren and Tristan now first 3 out of 4 legs. Like that's impressive. Yana and Core moving on up to second. Then we had Beck and Kate third, justifying Tomac a little bit there. Emma and Haley in fourth, Ben and Jackie fifth, Ali and Angie, Harry and Teddy, George and Pam by the skin of their teeth in 8th spot, and Peter and Frankie, who we all predicted would be going out early. Living up to that, they did not get above 7th in the race. But what do you think their legacy is as amazing racers, Michelle? How do they compete in the grand scheme of things?
Well, Pete, entertainment value. Pete was great. Just doing the random dancing here and there. Look, they haven't been on long enough. I had a big enough edit to have a big legacy. They were just a fun team, and we knew they were going to go out early.
Tom, what do you think of Pete and Frankie going out early?
I'm gonna miss them because for me it was like everyone else was like there racing, and then they just existed. Like they were just wandering through. Like,
at one point, he stopped to take photos for someone. Like that was people posing on the side of the road. He just stopped to take pictures. He's so great.
Yeah.
I think they were great fun. Like even Frankie was funny. Like she's a really good character. I'm sad to see them go, but they really weren't in it, were they? Like they were never really going to compete at all. They
were having a great time. I think they were doing it for each other. I think they've got memories. I mean, who wouldn't want to go on a trip like that with someone they love? I think you can tell some people are doing it for the glory, and some people just wanted an experience with family. And I think the first pair eliminated, and now Pete. I think it's about the fun. It's like Tom said, they're existing. They were having fun. They weren't going to stick around for long with that attitude.
So how about that brings us to the end of episode 4. Let's have a look at what our power rankings tier list sort of looks like. Share my screen.
Beck and Kate. Beck and Kate. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they got on the podium like they wanted.
Woo.
Here we go. So we, of course, said goodbye to Peter and Frankie. I'll put them there. So let's go through the list then. Darren and Tristan, should they still be amazing races considering
Yes.
they've won 3 out of 4?
Untouchable.
I think that's solid there. Emma and Haley. What
Yes.
do you think of Emma and Haley?
Yep.
Still top tier?
They're still strong. They're strong.
Everyone agrees with that, Tom?
Yeah.
You get the voice here this week. Ali and Angie, what are we thinking?
Oh, middle of the
Yeah.
pack for sure.
Middle of the
Yeah.
pack? They've come back a bit. They had a good first 2 episodes, but yeah, I agree with that. Are they?
Down.
I think they're above.
They looked a little lost this week.
Mm.
Harry and Teddy started out strong. They're still sort of going well, but had a bit of a backward week. What'd they end up on? I think that was 7th this
7th,
week.
Yeah.
How are we
I
feeling
think
about
they-
Harry and Teddy? Are they top tier?
Yeah. I mean,
They're hit and miss.
3 top 3 spots. I'd, and then one
We
like
don't want to swap. We don't want to swap them with Beck and Kate.
I think Beck and Kate should jump right up there next to Harry and Teddy. You know.
Right.
So
It'll be
this is if Tom was doing it. They'd be up here.
Oh my
That's
god.
no,
Tom's
no, no.
rankings.
well, obviously Darren and Tristan are always going to be at the top, you know. Like, but I reckon they deserve amazing races because I've already predicted it. They're going to be top 5 in both episodes this week, and that's good enough for me to be amazing
Yeah,
races.
Michelle, what do you think? Are we allowing Tom's assertion
You
here that
can
they are
allow
amazing
it.
races,
You
despite
can
the
allow
history?
it.
They can be behind Harry and Teddy, you know, like just making it onto the amazing races.
I'm
'Cause I
beating
had
them.
them
up
I'm
there
not putting them up
originally.
there.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
so. What
put
do you
them
think,
up
V?
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I put them up there. I think, and especially this week, their drive really. I know, but their drive really
Let's
came
have a
out.
look
and
at this.
There hasn't been much late sort of silliness with them. They haven't been mucking around or forgetting backpacks or getting upset, except for the heat in the start. But that took out even the great Grant Denyer. So I agree.
They're trending in the right way. Like, look at the 4 legs, right? We got 10, 8, 5, 3. Based on that, Tom, what are you saying there? They go on top.
Well,
I say chuck them up.
I genuinely think India was just like the worst country they could like perform in. I think like we're going to be moving out of that area, and they're going to be, they got the cocktails, they've got the balance, they've got their strengths coming in soon, So I have full faith in them. Yeah, I think they should be amazing races, and I'll accept your apology next week.
V's happy with amazing races. Tom wants amazing. Michelle, what are you saying for Beck and Kate?
Look, I had them up there originally, and then they were just so bad that we put them down. But I can interchange them between there and up.
Really?
I don't mind.
Look, I'm outnumbered here. I would have kept them here because I think that's too heavy. We're saying that they are equal on the same tier as Darren and Tristan at the moment.
No, I'd say top 4.
Yeah, but
1, 2, 3, 4.
there's a gap then. Maybe Darren and Tristan need their own tier, like compared to some of these others.
God tier,
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I think-
I'll give that then. So Ali and Angie, we move them down. George and Pam, are they still middle of the pack?
I don't think so.
They should. They could have been eliminated if they've got
Why?
to go down.
Yeah, elimination. They got to be at the bottom. They got to be early exit for this coming week. Yana and Core, they made up some ground, coming out strong. Still saw meltdowns. Still a lot of mistakes in the armor. Some chinks in the armor. 16.
Maybe put
is
Ben
still
and Jackie
16.
up.
Ben and Jackie look a bit
really?
stronger. They're dropping some stuff, making
Well,
mistakes,
no, put them in front of Yana and Core.
but still at the bottom like this.
Yeah.
So only one in middle of the pack.
Looks like it.
Well, if you wanted
very
to do
small.
it even, you could bring Beck and Kate I don't know if we want to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know what? You're smart. You're right. That's very smart.
They're
What do
still
you think,
fourth.
Tom?
I'm gonna have a panic attack. Oh my
Tom's
gosh.
not happy.
I thought you guys were gonna put Yana and Core up higher, and I was gonna be like, yeah, I guess. I'll let you guys have that. I was surprised you're all saying Yana and Core are still down there, given their second place and 6th and 4th. They've only had one like bad leg, I'd say. Even though I don't
And
like
it
them
was
at
off
all.
the stuff up. They were actually on course for first before
Yeah.
the bum bag
Mm.
incident. So
Yeah. So
And
so
Ali
what
and Angie have forgotten bags as well. You know, it's not just them.
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
what if
for them to come back the way they did.
Yeah, it was a pretty good comeback. So if we maybe put Yana and Core up one, and then we put Beck and Kate up one as well, like just for
I wouldn't be
so
mad
you're
at that.
saying like this?
yeah.
Oh,
I
God.
don't understand the Beck and Kate thing. Are you
Yeah.
doing a Mucky and Sneaky Steve? Is that what this is?
Look, so going into it, Darren and Tristan were the ones I was going for, but like they're so obviously like gonna win in my eyes that like they're boring. Like I don't like I enjoy watching them perform, but I don't want to root for them, because like rooting for them would be like rooting for like the obvious favorites. So I'm going all in on Beck and Kate, because they're like the Aldi store version of Amanda and Ashley, and they're my favorite Amazing Race contestants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree with it, but I'm outnumbered. I think Jonathan Gray points out statistically, again, facts and logic, the only team left with the worse average than Beck and Kate is George and Pam. And the current average... Sorry?
But Beck and Kate they've got it more together. George and Pam are starting, you can see it starting to unravel. And I think to me, it's the attitude. Beck and Kate have the attitude of winners.
Makes a difference in a game like the Amazing Race. It makes a difference. So here's the current averages. Darren and Tristan average finishing place of 2. So they're second on average, right? 1-1-5-1.
Oh, we got the top 3 well done.
They're Emma and Haley, Harry and Teddy, and then Ali and Angie, followed by Yana and Core, Ben and Jackie. Oh, they're tied for 5th with average 5th place finish, so right in the middle of the pack. And we've got them as early exit. Beck and Kate 7th after some poor performances early. And then last, George and Pam. Thank you, Jonathan. You know I love your stuff all the time. So that I mean, I don't agree, but I'm happy to leave Beck and Kate there because you 3 do. And
they've got a winning attitude. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So we'll see if our predictions come across, because we haven't given ourselves much leeway either. We got 2 episodes and we've picked 2 people to go out. So we have to be 100% right on that to keep that record. I think we're pretty safe with Darren and Tristan staying at the top, but there can be, obviously, in a show like The Amazing Race, there's a lot of variance, a lot of swings, a lot of things that can change. You can go from 1st to 8th when you forget a bum bag and all that sort of thing. So that's what we love about The Amazing Race. It's hard. It's unpredictable. They make you paint bellies. They make you fly over the beaches. They make you do all sorts of things.
Make a fruit basket.
A fruit basket, whatever the case may be. You're going to be surprised, Izzy. There is, I think, in the history of The Amazing Race, there's probably a lot more challenges that are way more monotonous and boring than fruit baskets.
I can't wait.
But if you love your fruit baskets and you love all that, we're going to be covering it every week, every Sunday, the same time, 9 p.m. But I think that's all for this week. We want to send a big shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, RD. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Andre Lee, again, always supporting with the $5 donation as well. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Tom, Michelle, V, thank you again. Until next week, this has been The Amazing Race Australia. And then Elephant Down, do the thing. Everyone do the Bo Ryan pose. There you go. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.